John Ivankovich here. We're going to look underneath this beautiful 1972 Targa Blue Corvette. As you can see, we have full facilities here, so when you come in, we do expect, let's take a look underneath. Let's go for a ride. I have several wonderful mechanics. If you want to talk to them about your new purchase. And in just a moment, we're going to introduce you to Reggie Martin. He is our inspector with 35 years of experience, and he'll go over what he looks at when he's looking underneath one of these beautiful Corvettes. Welcome back to Buy a Vet. Today we have a special guest with us. We have Reggie Martin. With 35 years in the Corvette business, when we need an inspection on a car, or you as a customer need to have an inspection done on a car, this is the man. I'm going to let him go under this 1972 Targa Blue and see what he sees.
Well, John, a couple of things we do when we look at cars is we look at certain components of the vehicle, and then we rate those components on a 1 to 10 scale. 1 meaning that it needs everything, 10 meaning it's a show car. And it gives you a better understanding of the car that you're potentially thinking of purchasing. Right now we have this beautiful blue Corvette up on the roof, on the lift rather, and we're going to go underneath it and talk about certain areas of concern, whether I were buying the car or whether a customer were buying the car. As we walk under the car, first area that I look at is the end of the frame rails before the kick-up, because that's a habitual problem where rust occurs. Look at it both sides. Likewise, while we're here, we're looking at brake lines, shocks, trailing arms, to make sure the integrity of the car is there. We're also in a position where we can look at the exhaust. And this particular vehicle has a brand new set of mufflers. We're looking at the spare tire carrier, and we're determining that it has a spare in it, because certainly we don't want you to buy a car and have a flat going down the road. I'm also paying close attention to the valance panel in the back, the inner fenders, to make sure that all the original bonding seams and original components are there. And of course, this would be given in a written report back to the prospective buyer. Then as we move forward, looking at the emergency brake system, the transmission for any excess of leakage, bottom of the motor for any excess of leakage. We're then moving up to the cross member, seeing if there are any pull marks, which would indicate the car has been in a collision and they had to pull the frame to straighten it. Looking at ball joints, shock absorbers, A-frame bushings, and we finish up at the front where we're looking at the underside of the valance panel and the grill assemblies to make sure that it's properly mounted and that there's been no hidden defects. Okay, the next area we're going to look at is the body fitment. From a distance, we're going to look at the gaps of the hood, the gaps of the headlight, how they how they fit up rather. And then there's a header panel that goes across the front where the headlight assemblies would be mounted to, and we want to make sure there's no damage showing through. This car fits up and looks very nicely. Then from the side, we're going to do basically the same thing. We're going to look at the fitment of the doors, because it tells the story if the frame is weak. If the frame were to be weak, it would be touching at the top of the doors because of flex in the frame. We're looking at the overall condition of the paint, whether it was professionally applied or in need of paint. We're likewise looking at tire, wheel combinations and condition of those particular components. We'll also take a minute and open up the door. The next area that we would concern ourselves would be the interior. The interior is broken down into door panels, seat covers, console, overall appearance of the cluster, the dash pad, and the functionality of all of those components. In other words, do the wipers work? Does the horn work? Do the blinkers work? Do the doors close and open properly? These are all parts of the evaluation that I would give for a prospective customer. We also want to look at the date codes of the windows on a collectible car, because those are points off or points on for evaluation of the car. We now swing around to the back, and again, from a distance we look at the overall fitment of the bumpers, that they're not out of shape, that all the bright work is clear, the exhaust tips are fine, the antenna's looking good. Physically open up the gas lid door, Open up the gas filler. Look into the gas tank to make sure there's no rust or debris, which would cause a problem when you were driving down the road with the gas filter, would cause you to have a failure. Now all of these components gives you a picture and gives me a picture of the quality of the car. And when we utilize a 1 to 10, if you're buying a car knowing that it needs some repairs, then that's fine. But you don't want to buy a car and get it home and find out why didn't they disclose this particular item. Now, one of the things that Buy-A-Vet seems to do better than most of the used Corvette marketeers in America is they go through a very tough evaluation on every car before they put it out there. So I will likewise look at about a 5-page report that indicates tire gauge, tire depth, and all of the various components, and that helps me work with it together. The end-all result is that you have a tool that gives you a better up, no different than if we were buying a home for our parents. We would do a survey, we would do a comparable, we would make sure we weren't living across the street from a railroad station. These are all the important factors that go into it. I'm on call, I travel, I do whatever needs to be done, and that's pretty much my story. Thank you very much from Reggie Martin.
Folks, thank you for joining us for the Buy-A-Vet Minute. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at 770-414-5552. See you on the road.